Hello everybody, Hawk here. How are you doing? I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy out there in these crazy times. And my hair is crazy. I never thought I'd say this, but I miss the little ladies at Supercuts. Hopefully I'll be able to get a haircut soon, but in the meantime, it is what it is, right? Well, before this whole pandemic thing hit us like a ton of bricks, Nektar was gracious enough to loan me a Pacer to try. The Nektar Pacer. This has been out for a couple of years. 2018 is when it came out, and I never actually put my hands on one before. And this last NAMM show, I was able to try one out, and picked it up and feel it, and it's built like a tank. And I was like, wow, this is really cool, and it's a great size, and the price is amazing. So let's give this a try. I'm like, can you guys loan me one? And they're like, okay, sure, we'll loan you one. So I really like the attention to detail they put on this too. It's got all these inputs and outputs for expression pedals and foot switches on the back. And it actually has a little cable tie for your 9-volt power supply, which is a really great attention to detail. But you don't need this 9-volt power supply. It will actually run on USB bus powered, which is what I'll be doing. And I'll be trying it out with Ableton Live. And speaking of Ableton Live, you know, I'm always looking for things that will work great for live performance, and particularly my Ableton Live class, my Performing with Ableton Live class. And I'm thinking this is a perfect companion for those of you who need foot pedal control to control things in Ableton Live, whether they're loops or playing clip slots or whatever. So let's fire this up and give it a try. You will need to install the software drivers for this. But let's do that now, and then we'll set the preferences in Ableton Live and take it for a test run. The first thing you'll need to do is go ahead and register your Nektar product, your new Nektar product here. And then once you do that, you can go to your account on the Nektar site and find the Pacer, and then download the software that matches your DAW program, which in this case is going to be Ableton Live for the Mac. But as you can see here, they've got Ableton Live for Windows. They've got Pacer for Pro Tools and Reason. I did try it with Reason. It works well with Reason 2 and Studio One and Logic. So they've got the bases covered here in terms of most of the main DAW programs. And hopefully you can find yours there. So let's get this installed, and then we'll take a look at how to set the preferences in Ableton Live to make sure that this is working with Pacer. So once you've got the software drivers installed and the firmware updated, go to your live preferences here, and this is how you should have it set up. There is the Mackie Control right there. That's the profile, the control profile that I'm using for Pacer. And then there's Pacer. Pacer shows up here as MIDI 1, MIDI 2. You want to put both of them on MIDI 2 here. And this will give you your transport and track control. I also have the input from Pacer here set up on my MIDI ports so that I can remote control and MIDI map controls from the MIDI notes coming from Pacer directly to Ableton Live using MIDI mapping. And I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, with the software installed and the preferences set correctly, I've got transport control. I just hit the transport button here, and I can press play. Stop. I can turn loop on and off here. I can scroll up and down the scenes. That's kind of cool. Some of these other buttons don't really apply to Ableton Live in terms of the Mackie Control profile. But I do have track, and I can switch over to the track, which would be the linear track mode. Some of the buttons, like I said, apply, some don't. I could change to the arrangement view here, and I can scroll up and down the tracks. But you'll notice, for example, like the record arm, can't seem to take the record arm and off here. But again, that's not super critical because I have note control and MIDI mapping, so I'll show you that in just a minute. So track control, transport control, and then our presets here. And these are notes. Go back to the session view. I have these notes here. And look, with the track armed for my little analog synth there, I can play some notes. Pretty sweet. Could play bass line as I'm playing guitar or something. And I can also reach the other presets if I want to control an amp or reach the little sequence note here, which is something that I really like is the sequencer notes. So if I just press this once here, I go to the presets and I can dial in, even with my foot, I can just dial in preset here. Let's say, I think it was D6, there it is. And then I press it again to go to that sequence preset. And check this out, I can actually play a series of notes based on one, and this is in the presets, by the way. This is not something I programmed. You could program your notes, but I can play a series of notes. I really like that idea. I'm not sure how I'd use it, but I could definitely think of a way to use that. And then over here we have program change. That's pretty cool. And CC numbers here. So lots of possibilities and very easy to program and very easy to actually just switch. Like if I want to go back to my notes here, press that once and then get back to A. There it is, program 1. Actually, I want program 5 is the notes here. And now I can remote control some stuff here. So check this out. If I go to MIDI mapping in Ableton Live, and let's just say we want to turn a track on and off. That'd be a good idea. There we go. And we will MIDI map that to this note. We'll come back out of MIDI mapping. And now I can turn that on and off. So if I press play here and get that sequence started here, I can just turn the channel on and off. So you can see, regardless of whether we have all of the transport controls accessible in Ableton Live via the Mackie Control, we can just MIDI map things to MIDI notes and get the same effect. So both are great options and they both work perfectly fine. So yeah, the Nektar Pacer. Wow, I am impressed. The foot switches are just a great size. If you noticed, when I was working with it, I was able to, with boots on, press these foot switches and even to control the knob here and press the knob and dial up different preset patches on it. And, you know, there are some foot pedals that are too small and I'm like, have to use my big toe to access the foot switches. Some pedals, pedal boards that are too big, that weigh a ton. This is like just the right size. And as I said, the price on this is killer. I will post the price somewhere around here and whatever the current retail is and the MSRP, the street value price, whatever Sweetwater is pricing it at, but it is a really good price. And so I highly recommend this. I mean, also the LEDs are great for low light situations. You've got your transport control. You've got all your MIDI control with the outputs of the MIDI notes. They really thought this out really well. And yeah, what can I say? I'd get one of these because it's pretty much perfect for a foot pedal controller for Ableton Live or whatever your DAW is. And also, and I haven't tried this, the control of things like amplifiers from this. Since I'm not primarily a guitar player and I'm more of an Ableton Live software or DAW kind of guy, I didn't do that, but yeah. So, hey, there you go. Nektar Pacer. Check it out. And as usual, you know, if you like what I'm doing here on this channel, please subscribe, please support, and pick up a music producer t-shirt if you're into it. I'm into this because, hey, I designed it. It's the 1980s music producer t-shirt. So, and with that said, be well, everybody. Take care of yourself. Take care of everybody else in the world, and be safe. And I'll see you soon. Ciao.